Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, he's back.
I think Joe Flacco is actually a very elite quarterback. He won a Super Bowl. He did it really to a certain extent with that great arm of his. I would say absolutely he is an elite quarterback.
The one, the only Joe Flacco, who honestly at this point might be better age for age with Aaron Rodgers, is back. Elite quarterback Joe Flacco.
Really? What?
On the back in black or brown, I guess now. I'm not excited because it's the Browns. I'm a Bengals fan, but at the same time, he's back. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the Football Stooges, the weekly YouTube show where we break down football in the stupidest way possible.
Get off. Say it.
It buffered. Sorry, boys, it's stupid.
It buffered.
Bro.
Oh, man, we're having technical difficulties already.
Wait for it. He's gonna say the line.
He's gonna say it. But yeah, I'm your host, Lab City. Welcome once again to the show. We got a lot to cover this week. We're gonna do our draft, mock draft. We will not have a live stream next week. Both my brothers are getting married this year, so the days off for work I have are limited because I have to use them for that. So we will be covering the draft, but it will be released on the Friday right after the draft, so we'll give our initial thoughts and everything there. But we have a mock draft that we're going to do to get ourselves prepared for next week. Obviously, the crossover grid, 4 games from the UFL to cover, and then as always, massive and can never escape it. It's the tier list back again. So without further ado, here he is, the Purell hand sanitizer of the Football Stooges, currently painting, literally painting giant ass. It's massive.
I mean, it's a giant.
Yeah.
I keep trying to escape, but it keeps bringing me back in.
That's when I think he's out. They pull him back in.
I got a giant. I got 10 Chaos Knights. I got a paint. I got 5. They're technically Dark Oath, like Marauder Horsemen, but I'm
You want to see what I have to paint?
Welcome to the Games Workshop podcast, everybody.
Yeah.
Is it a drop pod?
No. I have. Oh, you can't even see it because of my camera. Yeah, you can kind of see it. And now it's just empty. It's nothing. Holding nothing. Like you can't even see it. You can't even see it.
Move your
Primer
box.
green?
That's probably.
Yeah, holy! It's not green. It's just the NVIDIA broadcast is just like screwing with it for a second. You can't even
see a corner of it.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Can't.
You know what? I committed to the bit. We're just gonna.
You committed to the bit. Okay, what did I just start? I just want to have.
Okay, the virtual background's off for 1 second. There's a lot of stuff in here, so you can actually see what. Look.
Casually. Oh, that would have been dangerous.
Yeah, but like,
look
at that
mountain of gray orcs I have to paint.
Gray orc. Oh no. See, Mom, but you're getting into Warhammer at some point. It's just happening, just by association.
I guess, bro.
Well, we'll make you an Indian themed like successor chapter or something.
Why does it have to be?
No, just that's called Tau. I'm actually being serious because of the caste system.
Aren't they more like regular Asian stereotype with their memes?
It's the memes,
like
but
anyway.
But the actual caste system.
Moving on from Warhammer, now in 8K, or should I say 40K, Mamba. Look at the HD. Look at the pixels. Look at you can see every aspect of him. Like new camera and everything. You can see more Mamba, more. Subscribe to Mamba Plus. More Mamba all the time.
So this is a dark green shirt, but it shows a black for some reason in here.
Probably because of the lighting. I don't know.
Lighting.
And
it's cool.
It could have been me last week where it just kept on phasing through and you see the fucking background.
Last, but certainly not least, the inside of his soul is always black because Boston sports suck. It's K-Duff.
I mean,
actually,
black, but my army is green. Wog.
Walk.
Also, Lob, come join the Boston Bruins and the Philadelphia Flyers on the non-playoff seats.
What do you mean?
You're a Rangers fan. You're a Rangers fan.
No,
Flyers are out.
I'm not a Rangers fan. I'm a Stars fan. I just have a Rangers jersey of Henrik Lundqvist.
I'm also not
Oh.
a Bruins fan anymore until Cam Neely is actually fucking fired. And Don Sweeney.
All right, we got a lot to
The only
get
time
to.
I'll see either of those guys again in the TD Garden is if they're like scrubbing the floors of North Station under the TD Garden.
North Station under the TD
Fuck
Garden.
Bruins.
Park the card, Harvard Yard. Wow,
Go
wow.
Sox, Tom Brady can fucking
Go
go
Sox,
take
Tom
it.
Brady. Got to get my Duncan, Bob Saget. Here we go. I don't know. Ben Affleck. We got to go and get into a couple different things. But first, there was something interesting I saw on TikTok here about the recent situation in college football. Two things in college football. One. This one is that I'm about to show you a video of is of DJ Tennessee quarterback. Well, I can't remember his name.
No, Nico.
Nico. Now, DJ Ungavalea is the Florida State quarterback. This is TJ Umavalea. I don't. His last name is.
Also, speaking of FSU,
Yeah.
you've thoughts and prayers go out to the people for the mass shooting.
Yes. Yeah. That was reported recently. So tough news about that. But there's also Lee Corso is officially retiring August 30th. I think he'll have like one college game day and then hang it up, which has been an amazing career. He's been there the entire time. So hats off there. I'm sure we'll get a lot more like sentimentary stuff about it as that date approaches. But the other thing that I saw about college football was obviously the situation following Tennessee's quarterback, which is being more alluded to in this video. And I want to get your guys' thoughts after you watch.
Nico Maliava just secured a huge bag, but he fumbled an even bigger one. He will go down as a cautionary tale in the era of NIL. He and Arch Manning were 1 and 2 out of high school, both 5 stars with perfect scores. Every program in the nation wanted Nico, but ultimately the kid from LA accepted a scholarship to play at Tennessee. In reality, the scholarship was meaningless. What he really accepted was an annual $2 million NIL deal. Even as a freshman sitting behind Joe Milton, Nico got his yearly $2 million check. He became the starter and played well this past season as his Vols made the playoff. Shortly after, though, rumors started brewing that Nico was asking for his pay to be doubled. Tennessee and their boosters didn't like the idea at all. Nico was talented, but not an All-American. Months passed, and with no raise, Nico skipped a practice, making him the first NIL player to hold out. The Vols immediately cut ties, and Nico hit the portal, where he once again demanded $4 million a year. It wasn't as easy as he imagined. Oregon and Miami said no thanks, which left him with just one option, UCLA. A rich program who met his demands,
UCLA
but
was
isn't
willing
the
to
same
pay
class as
$4
Tennessee.
million?
Nico's leaving an SEC
would.
program that he
Pretty
led to the
good.
playoff to start over at a school that hasn't been relevant since the 90s. Look at it like this. Nico was just 2 years old the last time an offensive player from UCLA made the NFL Pro Bowl, Mercedes Lewis in 06. Since that same 06 season, the Bruins have produced just one first-rounder at a skill position, Josh Rosen. What Nico chose here is a classic
Josh
case of
Rosen.
short-term thinking. Someone on his team or in his family should have gotten his ear and told him that the NFL has the real money. Stick with the program that gives you the best shot at developing as a pro prospect. Instead, he threw it away for a quick raise. I'm Frank Mickle-Smith, and that's my take.
Yeah, but it's not
So-
always guaranteed
Yeah.
he's gonna make it to the league, so that's the other
Right.
thing.
Right, but also at the same time, I think he has a lot more national attention when he is at
Yeah.
the University of Tennessee than he will have the University of UCLA. Again, UCLA is now a Big Ten program, but however, they are not in the like Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan level of Big Ten. They're closer to like the Northwestern, UCLA, Purdue football level at the bottom, which is not.
Purdue.
Like basketball's great at Purdue, but again, when Purdue people go and tailgate at a football game, they're like, "Oh, wait a minute, there's a game." Oh, no, okay, yeah, they just go out, drink a couple
They
beers, and
just
go
keep
home.
on drinking.
Exactly.
That's
So
how
I
it
mean,
is.
yeah, it's going to be rough because obviously now that there is some of the big time players are making so much money in NIL at very big universities that have a lot of boosters, especially universities that are these big public universities that have so many boosters, and some of which, like we've seen for Michigan, are willing to put forward 2-digit figures with million behind that, 11 million to Bryce Underwood. There's going to be some, there might be some holdouts as we can see, and it people don't want to see that in college football. I think the NCAA needs to come in with something about some kind of like a cap about the maximum a player can make. Obviously, that's going to be pretty high, but at the same time, like this gap that's going to be starting to be created between mid-level players and good players and where they're going to go based on where all the money is is going to be crazy. The difference between the lowest team this year in college football and the best team this year in college football is just going to grow every single year as more and more players go to where the money's at. Because there's not money at Western Michigan. There's not money at, Iowa State. Well, there might be some, but there's going to be, the most money is going to be at your big blue blood schools. Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, Oregon, Auburn, maybe Auburn. But, you're going to have big time money at big time football schools, and those small like Delaware State schools are just going to get thrown off the coast of the earth.
Yeah, like UMass is going to be like completely non-existent.
Besides, you have one really good player at UMass that's like, oh, this guy's going to be like our version of like a really good player on a bad team. I'm trying to think of like a college football player that was on a really
You're saying good player. Like he's going to be the best player on their team, but he's still at least like 6th round to undrafted if he was to go to the NFL.
Maybe not that. I'm trying to think of a really good college football player that was on like Randy Moss at Marshall.
True.
Okay, there wasn't really anyone else in that Marshall roster that was insane in the NFL. Like players like Randy Moss aren't going to stay at Marshall. They're going to have 1 year at Marshall where they break every single record, and then Alabama's going to be like, here's $6 million. Boom, over.
I was going to say like this a little more recently, like Quinion Mitchell out of Toledo. Like I can't really name you until he got drafted. Like any really, really good guy in the modern era that's been out of Toledo.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, he would have played 1 year at Toledo. People would have saw his talent. And then, like, Ohio State, Michigan, the surrounding schools near the area would be like, hey, here's $1 million. Boom, he's gone. Like, I mean, as a human being, how do you say no to that? Obviously, there's some sense of, like, responsibility and stuff like that. But again,
things like, I'm going to make it big. I'm going to get so much money. I'm going to get so much money in college. I might as well ask for a raise while in my senior year.
Yeah. So, a lot of aspects going into NIL, and I hope it's handled properly because, again, the athletes deserve to be paid, but at the same time, there's a difference between being paid and having money thrown at you at that young of an age. So, yes. We've already seen
Especially
that.
In the case of Nico Imalivia, who immediately had his money taken away from him the second he tried to ask for more and held out because of it.
Yeah. So, anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to start with the crossover grid and then go straight into KDF news.
Okay, interesting.
This is ridiculous. 1 rushing touchdown on Monday Night Football.
Oh, God.
Fuck.
Tight end with a rushing touchdown on Monday Night Football?
Okay, well, for Titans rushing touchdown, just do Derrick Henry, I guess, just to get that out of the way.
For Carolina and Monday Night Football touchdown, try Miles Sanders. No.
Carolina.
Carolina. I said Carolina.
Miles.
M-I-L.
Miles Sanders.
The top.
Nope.
No, he did not have a...
Maybe Travis Kelce here? I've seen them do some crazy stuff.
Probably,
no.
Gronk?
Well, that would be down here, but we can name a different one. So, Rob Gronkowski. No. Who was the... Oh, shoot. Who was the guy that caught the catch? It was a tight end. Joe Montana. Joe Montana threw the catch. It was against the Cowboys. It was a long time ago, but there's always that picture of him like grabbing it like right up here above his head.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. KDF's looking it up probably.
Dwight Clark.
Dwight Clark. I wanted to say Dallas Clark. I knew that wasn't right, so I know it was close.
Oh, well, it was against the Dallas team, so you're right there.
Yeah. Why is that not right? Dwight Clark. There's one Dwight Clark. Wasn't he a tight end? Didn't it say he was a tight end? Or is he actually a receiver? That just didn't. I thought he was wearing like in the 40s. Maybe he was a fullback.
Wide receiver.
Shoot. All right. Well, we could just do Vernon Davis here.
Sure.
There we go. Vernon Davis.
George Kittle.
Yeah. And then a tight end that played for the Patriots. Named the most random tight end for the Patriots ever, KDF.
Most random tight end ever. What was this kid? There's this kid's name. Pharaoh Brown.
Pharaoh Brown. Shout out KDF's Patriots knowledge. Do you want to can you do these ones as well, you think, down here, KDF?
Let's see. Titans, Patriots. One of the McCourty twins. It's either Jason or Devin McCourty. MCCOURTEY.
I'm trying to remember which one.
Nope, not Devin.
Try Jason McCourty.
So, yeah. Yeah, Devin stayed with the Patriots.
There it is, Jason McCourty. Okay, and then a Panther.
Oh, dude, you already know.
I already know.
Think.
Oh.
Quarterback.
Cal?
Think harder.
What do you mean harder?
Recent.
Mac Jones, Mac Jones was not.
Cam Newton.
Oh.
Bam Cam.
Come on, bro. You forgot he was a Patriot?
I try to not remember that, honestly.
Yeah, I don't blame Kate up there, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So Carolina one rush touchdown Monday Night Football. Try Jonathan Stewart. I was trying to think of
we also
names.
could have. No, I just thought that.
So San Fran and Panthers just do CMC.
That works, yeah. We could have done him for
and then
either one of
Bagby.
those, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have two more: a Niner and a Titan, and then a tight end that has a rushing touchdown on Monday Night Football. Random tight end Dallas Clark.
Dallas Clark.
No.
Okay, no. Random tight end.
Hold on.
Random tight end. Pat Fryermuth. I don't fucking know.
Hold on, I want to see.
Do Gronk. Just fucking do Gronk.
Big Gronk. We did Gronk already.
A rushing TD. The Fridge.
The Fridge was a defensive tackle.
Lineman.
He was a defensive tackle.
Oh, never mind.
That was his main position.
Hunter Henry. Hunter Renfro.
Taysom Hill.
Not on Monday night. Not on Monday night.
Oh, bro.
That's right. It was a Sunday night. Sunday night.
Did we do Mercedes Lewis yet?
No. Oh my gosh. Mercedes Lewis.
Kate Otton? Fuck.
There's not much of tight ends that run.
Tyler Higbee. I don't fucking know here. Will Disley. Hayden Hurst. Jesus Christ.
This one's
Random tight ends. I threw an Ozzie Newsome and Mike Ditka right there, bro. Like who is the really good tight end for Peyton Manning on the Colts for a while?
I don't know.
It wasn't Dallas Clark. No, was it Dallas Clark? It was Dallas Clark. No, I'm thinking Jason Witten. Jason Witten, different guy. No, random tight ends. Random tight ends. Tony Gonzalez. I am Tony Gonzalez. No.
I think other guys.
Oh.
Wait. Lob, you're a Michigan guy. What's that tight end that got drafted out of Michigan last year?
Sunday.
Eric All Jr.
No, not Eric All. Like there was another one. I feel like AJ something. I don't fucking know.
AJ Barner.
Make it to the NFL? I don't know.
Yeah, he did.
Okay, that didn't count. Eric All maybe. I don't fucking. Has he had a tight end yet? Has he had a touchdown yet?
No, he's had a lot of blocking. He's done that. Maybe another Bengals tight end, Drew Sample. No. Tyler Eifert.
Kyle Pitts. I don't fucking.
Holy crap! What is
Mark
this?
Andrews. Isaiah Likely. What the fuck?
Antonio Gaze.
Eric Ebron.
Eric Ebron. God damn.
Johnny Hector.
Hector or Hecker?
Hector.
No.
Travis Kelce.
I tried Travis.
Trey McBride then? I don't fucking know.
Trey McBride.
Noah Gray? Who the fuck then? We do Rod Bernstein? We're both looking at the same. We're both looking at the same
I
stat.
know.
here.
Yeah.
Rob Bernstein, no. Holy
Wrong.
moly.
Uh,
Eric
Oh.
Bjornsson.
try Trey Burton.
Eric BJOR Bjornsson. Okay,
Nope.
you Macedon, you said somebody else? Try
Trey Burton, Trey, and then Bur as in like Tim Burton. Damn it.
Okay. Evan Engram.
Evan Ingram.
Evan EVAN.
Is it ENGRAM? With an
E.
Nope,
That's
okay.
that one. Jonnu Smith.
Possibility.
No H.
JONNU.
It's two N's.
JONNU. Jonnu Smith. Nope.
Smith. Fuck.
Gerald Everett. I don't fucking know.
Gerald Everett. Nope.
Riley Odoms. Damn it.
What the fuck is this? This is just random guessing of tight ends. Tucker Kraft. Thank you. Tucker Kraft. No. Mercedes Lewis. No.
David Njoku.
No. What'd you say, honey? Who? No, Andre Josefas is a wide receiver. No. Good name drop though. Good name drop.
Dalton Kincaid. I don't fucking.
Dalton Kincaid. No. Who are the two? Oh, Duke Tobin. Who are the two guys on the Raiders?
Brock Bowers.
Brock. Yeah. Why am I? Nope. And then the other one, the other really tall Notre Dame. Why can't I not remember his names? Michael Mayer.
We already said Hunter went. No way. Well, Michael Mayer. Yeah. There's no way
Nope.
it was him. Yeah. Did we do Tyler Conklin yet?
What the?
Zach Ertz.
Zach Ertz definitely did not.
No.
Did we
Mike,
say?
Mike
did we say Dalton Kincaid?
Yeah,
we
did.
did. We tried
No.
that.
Okay.
Try Mike Gesicki, maybe. I don't fucking know at this point.
I did Mike Gesicki already.
Jimmy Graham. Tony
Dude.
Gonzalez.
I did Tony already.
Did
I did Tony.
we do it? Did we do Antonio Gates?
Yep, I did Antonio Gates.
Okay. I don't fucking even know. We've gone through just about every tight end I could think of.
All right, well then let's look at San Francisco, Tennessee, and then we might just have to like mail it in and see how many there actually are.
Well, that one should be a little more easy.
Yeah, the Titans and the Niners. Randy Moss.
Yeah, Randy Moss did play for them.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So we're just gonna do start over, and then just This is totally how you do this. Cool. Ernie Cronwell was the top answer.
Who the fuck is
Who?
that?
How
who's
many
all the
people?
answers?
What are all the answers? 5 guys. Have you ever heard of any of these guys?
Ernie
Jeff Queen,
Cromwell.
Willie Fraser, Warren Blankenson, Terry Nelson, Gary Lewis, Harry Holt, Ernie Conwell. When did any of these guys
Cromwell.
play? The top guy, Ernie Cronwell.
Okay.
Give me
Last
Google.
Last played in 2006. I share a birthday with him, as it turns out, for the Saints and Rams.
2006. This was the most random thing. Like, I get these supposed to be tough, but this is the toughest one ever. That is insane.
You went through like what, like 30, 40 names?
Yeah, we did. Just like, again, they were big names, but at the same time, like, what the hell? All right, we're gonna go to Caitiff News.
Yes, please.
Oh, what the fuck? Who's this guy? Who's this piece of shit? Ah, oh, jeez.
All right, let's try to get that taste out of our mouths with that fucking tight end shit.
What?
Starting out with some injury news. For the UFL, we've got Isaiah Washington for the Showboats and Danny Etling for the Panthers out with concussion protocol. They're also going to Panthers are also going to be missing Gunnar Oaks, tight end, chest injury. The Battlehawks are losing guard Abdul Beecham due to a hand injury for this week. Jacob, going right off a actual sheet I just found on Reddit of all places. Colby Richardson for the cornerback for the Roughnecks. He is questionable because of a groin injury. So is running back Kirk Merritt with both ankles injured. The Stallions have also got Ricky Person Jr., their running back, possibly out this week because of an ankle injury. The let's see, for the Brahmas, kicker Donald De La Haye is questionable because of a groin strain. Cornerback Darius Phillips with a shoulder injury, and for the defenders, Abram Smith with an ankle injury, and cornerback DeAndre Baker with a shoulder injury. All questionables or out, depending on what happens going into tomorrow. Other than that, the only other news I got is something that's going to possibly fuck up the Saints' whole strategy going into next week. Quarterback Derek Carr, living up to his name, has broken down once again. He has a severe shoulder injury, linking to the AC joint injury he had last season that didn't apparently heal properly, and may require surgery that will put his availability for next season in jeopardy. So, no idea what's going to happen there. As for signings and re-signings, we finally got some news straight from the mouth of Aaron Rodgers about what he wants to do. He went on Pat McAfee's show to confirm absolutely fucking nothing. Nothing. He says like, "Oh, I could retire now, or I could sign for another team and play for them right now. I'm not going to decide just yet." And then he also goes on to say, like, he is completely baffled about why people are expecting him to play or go play, sign, or even go to the Steelers when you yourself have literally said like, "Oh, I want to play football this year," and you've literally had multiple visits with the Steelers saying like, "You're cool, Big Tom with Mike Tomlin." Had a private practice with DK Metcalf. So what the fuck, Aaron? Just sign with a fucking team already or retire. End this shit. It's more annoying than like listening to LeBron whether he's going to stay or go in Miami. Anyway, other than that, in happier news for the Bills, though, they are bringing back an old friend, former Ravens cornerback Tre'Davious White on a 1-year, $6.8 million deal. This is his second step with the team. He last played for them 2 years ago. And a strange development out of South Beach. The Dolphins general manager Will Grier has announced that they are looking to trade cornerback Jalen Ramsey. Whether that's because of his injury history, age, or something else that's been going on behind the scenes, it just seems out of nowhere.
I mean, he kind of disappeared after the Super Bowl with the Rams. It just was like, went from being the best cornerback in the league to like,
Yeah, I guess so. Speaking of cornerbacks that are no longer going to be for the teams they're playing for, Cardinals' Patrick Peterson has announced his retirement after 13 years in the league. And with the Cardinals, Vikings, and Steelers, he's finishing his career an 8-time Pro Bowler, 3-time first-team All-Pro, part of the All-Decades 2010 team, led the league in punt return yards in his rookie year, has 36 interceptions and 1,891 return yards for 6 touchdowns, 2 forced fumbles, and 12 recoveries. Other than that, returning to the Cowboys, offensive tackle Tyron Smith is signing a 1-day contract to retire with Dallas, where he spent all 14 seasons of his career, minus last year with the Jets. Ending his career an 8-time Pro Bowler, 2-time first team, and 3-time second team All Pro, part of the 2010s team as well, and starting all 171 games he appeared in. The final retirement of this week, Saints right tackle Ryan Ramczyk announced a couple hours ago he is retiring after 8 years in the league, spent all with the Saints, citing his battle with knee injuries that has been keeping him off the field as the main issue. Finishing his career first team All-Pro, 2-time second team, part of the 2010s team, and started all 101 career games he has played in. On to miscellaneous news around football circles. 49ers have announced they are bringing back an old friend for their new defensive coordinator role. Former Jets head coach Robert Saleh, who last coached them in 2020 before going on to New York, is back in San Fran. Dipping into the UFL, we have 2 more coaches that are either resigning or taking a leave of absence. First up is Brahma's head coach Wade Phillips announcing he is taking a leave of absence due to an illness. Recently promoted offensive coordinator Peyton Party will interim in his absence. And as for the Showboats, head coach Ken Wisenhunt is officially resigning from his position, making offensive line coach and interim head coach Jim Turner in charge for the remainder of the season, which honestly I don't know. With how the Showboats have been playing, I don't know if there's any fixing that, to be honest with you. Last thing for the UFL, they are announcing this year's championship game will be played in St. Louis at the Dome of America Center, which is, of course, home to the big, throbbing Battlehawks. Let's see, other than that, a few things for the college thing. We already talked about the Nico Amalevia situation. A little update for the thing with Texas wide receiver Isaiah Bond. He is countersuing the woman that made claims against him about assault, all that led to his arrest last week. So we'll see how that goes for him. Sadly, news also out of the college ranks. LSU wide receiver Kyron Lacey was found dead in Houston last week at the age of 24. This was apparently days before he was supposed to go on trial for a hit and run he was involved in last December. His career consisted of playing for LSU and the University of Louisiana, where he recorded 2,300 yards for 26 touchdowns and was expected to be at least a second-round pick at best in this year's draft. So rest in peace to him. Former NFL tight end Don Hasselbeck also passed away this week at the age of 70. He played 8 years in the league with the Patriots, Raiders, Giants, and Vikings, ending his career as a one-time Super Bowl champ, member of the 1977 All-Rookie team, had 1,500 career receiving yards for 18 touchdowns. And lastly, Colorado is announcing they are going to retire both the jersey numbers 2 and 12 of Shadur Sanders and Travis Hunter as they both depart for the NFL. Probably both somewhere in the top 10 of the first round this year. But we'll talk more about draft later. That's all I got.
All right. Thank you very much, Senor Kiduff. Hopefully hearing that both of those UFL coaches are able to get back in coaching as well, and also the multiple tragic news that happened with current or soon-to-be players. Prayers go out to them and their families. But now, before we get into the UFL stuff, we're going to go ahead and do our mock draft. So, Gabe has been nice enough to set this up, and we're just going to give our opinions on what we think each team will take. I don't think we're going to simulate trades. Again, it's a hard thing to simulate based on like who gives what for what. But again, we're just going to do it. If no one traded, this is who we think each one would get, and we'll talk through it. So here we go.
All right. Starting the draft.
Do we just start draft here? Yeah.
Yep.
Is there a time limit? Do we have to stop? Can we?
No. If you've got all teams, if you're selecting all teams, you can go at your own speed. So for the Titans, I mean, it's pretty cut and dry that they're going quarterback and going for Cam Ward.
Seems like it, yeah. As far as all the quarterbacks go, it seems to be how it would
the one thing
move
that's
forward.
They're saying that Cam Ward is essentially the second coming of Patrick Mahomes. I haven't really seen too much of his play, so I don't exactly see where that comparison is coming from, other than the fact that he's a mobile quarterback with a decent arm.
And also, Miami did not play great.
No, they
Defense.
didn't.
Defense did not. Their defense.
Yeah,
It's their offense.
true. But also
Their
there was
offense is. Their offense was what won them games.
yeah.
Right.
So yeah, seems
so
like
this
Cam
could be-
Ward's a lock, but there could be some other like random things that happen. But Cam Ward.
Right. As for the Browns, I mean, as long as we already know, as long as Deshaun Cosby's there, that they're going to need a quarterback thing. But they seem to have that locked in with elite quarterback Joe Flacco's return.
Flacco.
And
They got rid of DTR, so they don't have any young guys. So do you think they're going to draft in their quarterback? Or do you think they're just going to go and they're going to get Hunter?
Kenny
well,
Pickett,
they
I don't
have
think he's
Pickett.
gonna put the ball in his tiny hands. So
Yeah, that's a fourth quarterback on the roster if they draft a quarterback.
I really mean, part of me just wants to see Hunter fall to 4. I know it's not going to happen. But
What do you
if
think?
we're gonna be realistic about it,
Also, I don't think it's too crazy to see this guy, Ashton Genty, get picked up because Chubb is starting to regress a little bit. Sadly, mostly due to injuries, nothing of his, willingness for ineptitude. Obviously,
I've been seeing GT go as drafted as high as like 2, 3, 4 to like to Browns, Giants, Patriots, Raiders, anybody that really needs a running back here. But for him to fall out of like the top 7 would be egregious, in my opinion.
So what do you think here?
I mean, it could definitely be in between G.T. or Hunter. Who do you feel like they need the worst? Because cornerback, they're kind of okay as long as they keep Ward.
I feel like Genty is just such a better running back prospect than anything the quarterbacks have been. But at the same time, it's the Cleveland Browns, so they're not going to make the right decisions. So they're just going to go and they're going to draft Shedeur Sanders.
Oh, no, don't do that.
I mean, yeah, they need quarterback. They're gonna go for Shedeur.
Yeah, they're gonna make the wrong pick and take Shedeur. That would put.
That feels like a Browns pick too.
Who does the Giants have for quarterback? They don't have a quarterback.
They don't have a quarterback. They have Russell Wilson.
Oh, Russell Wilson.
Wait, who did else they got?
Danny DeVito or Danny DeVito, Tommy DeVito.
Tommy DeVito, and no, Jameis Winston too.
No,
they got Jameis Winston.
They did, yeah. They got Jameis as well.
So you think they're going to go Jalen or Will?
Probably Jalen. There's a really big gap, I feel like, between Jalen and Will.
Well, even so, like there's a massive gap between like all these quarterbacks with the top 2.
Yeah.
Plus, their needs are also not. Plus, with Russell Wilson under contract for this year, the need for a quarterback, especially in what many people are calling this draft kind of mid for quarterbacks, I feel like they could go somewhere else with it. So, because Abdul Carter is still on the board here.
I would say if they're smart, offensive line.
So, like a Will Campbell or an Armand Membo.
They need offensive line help because Evan Neal's a turnstile, and who do they have on the offensive line?
They have some weird center out of like Minnesota that has done absolutely nothing as well.
So,
still think they want a quarterback, though. I feel like something to go for with the future, maybe.
I think. Well,
they need a cornerback still, which could be Hunter.
Yeah, I could see them going Hunter.
This is a tough draft. There's just a lot of it seems options that don't kind of fit well with the beginning picks, and then it starts to smooth that afterwards.
Right. All right, let me Google some Giants rough mock drafts. See what they're saying.
Let me take a look at Mel Kiper. What does he say?
According to Giants.com, consensus third round pick at 3 is either Carter or I'm seeing Carter, G.T. or Hunter. So that doesn't really help us much either.
I can see Carter because Sexy Dexy's still doing well, but Thibodeau has been on a downhill.
Yeah. I'm seeing that. Funny enough, Daniel Jeremiah out of the NFL is saying Shedeur Sanders as well.
I actually was thinking that if they didn't get Wilson and Winston.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's saying New York Giants Abdul Carter. I think that's a fair one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of a luck.
I kind of agree.
Brian Burns also not really having a good.
So yeah, this one I feel like is the easiest one. They needed line help, and there's Will Campbell, and Will Campbell has fallen. I think if Travis Hunter's on the board, you still take Will Campbell because it's what you guys need.
Even so, yeah.
Yeah.
That is, yeah. Plus, Vrabel does like to build in the trenches. I hate leaving Hunter on the board, but I know it's for a greater good. A Tau reference. Because our O line is still absolute fucking garbage going into the draft here, to be honest.
So then
Morgan
this
Moses
is
not
where
gonna fix us at all.
it would be like they would probably the Jaguars would probably go after like Mason Graham or McMillan, but also Travis Hunter's still on the board in our draft, so it would feel like Travis Hunter would be picked up here.
Funny, every time I did like a mock draft before tonight, I also was thinking Mason Graham to the Jaguars.
Yeah.
They do need the D-line help. But with Hunter on the board, you got to do it.
Yeah.
And with GT still on the board for the Raiders,
Yes.
I mean, if it was Gruden and the other guys still there, maybe. I don't know with Pete Carroll. Well, Pete Carroll did.
Pete Carroll learned his lesson about not running the football. Done. All right. Jets on the clock. They need offensive line help. They did go get Justin Fields. So
the quarterback is in a massive need at the moment.
Yeah, there's also not a ton left now that our draft has had some moved on.
Line, D-line, wide receiver.
Membo, I feel like, is the best option here for them.
Membo actually apparently had a really decent combine, so I could definitely see him going for that.
Recency bias is going to help there.
Panthers, wide receiver, edge rusher, defensive. Wide receiver,
edge rusher.
I don't know if they're going to go wide receiver again because I mean they just took Leggett last year.
I'm thinking edge rusher.
So they're thinking Jalen Walker is what is suggested by ESPN's. I'm thinking that they're going to want a receiver to help with that team out. You can also get McMillan there.
So what's the analysis saying that's right there?
Their analysis is that they had big time defensive issues, and they say that Walker can be a good sideline to sideline speed or fly off the edge kind of guy to get home to the quarterback.
I'm just saying it's a bit of a reach. Like I mean, like the PFF analysis tab. Right next to yep.
Jalen. What?
No.
Go this one. Oh,
it is still saying Jalen Walker.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Jade Barron, Tetairoa McMillan.
I think either McMillan or Walker.
You know, I'll take it. Yeah, fine. Jalen Walker, I guess.
Really? Yeah, okay.
It could be the first reach of the draft, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
We'll just chalk it up to David Tepper being David Tepper. Now for the Saints, this gets fucky because of the whole like
Shedeur Sanders,
Derek Carr situation. Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders are gone.
They have Rattler they got last year.
So it's either Tyler Warren, Tyrone McMillan, or Shedeur Sanders. And in this, since Shedeur Sanders is gone, it feels like McMillan's dropped to them, and they've needed a good wide receiver for a while. So this is just the best option.
That's right, because Chris Olave just keeps getting banged up.
Yeah.
They don't really have many others besides that.
So then the Bears. It's saying Tyler Warren, which is like, I feel like you need tackles, but again, the two of them have gone. Membo's gone, and Campbell's gone.
You really need a running back?
I mean, I feel like you could work on your D-line more, so I would go Mason Graham here, to be honest.
Yeah, he's dropped this far. If Mason Graham drops this far,
D-line, I would probably go. Yeah.
Also, like it's not the running back's fault when the O-line can't block for run game.
Okay, 49ers, O-line, D-line, or cornerback?
They really need some O-line help. Yeah.
They need to get healthy.
And so the best option left at tackle is either Kevin Banks or Josh Simmons, and it is saying analysis-wise that Kevin Banks is the one that's left.
Even above him, they're also going for like cornerbacks like Jade Barron or Will Johnson. If you were John Lynch right now, what do you think your team needs more?
It's weird to say with this last season just because of the amount of issues they had health-wise.
Not to mention all the departures they had this season.
Oh, yeah. That defense is going to need some help.
They got to pay Purdy soon.
Yeah, I would probably go defensive side of the ball for now. So Walter Nolan, Jade Barron, Malachi Starks. Barron's
Barron.
he's kind of a veteran out of on the Longhorns defense, so you got some minor experience there. He could be NFL ready. How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, Cowboys. Horrible decision, dropping all the way down and getting Matthew Golden because he's a Texas boy and Jerry Jones sees it. All right, then.
No, it has to be from Arkansas.
Exactly. Miami Dolphins. They could take a couple different things out of this. They're expecting some Will Johnson from here. That's what ESPN and.
Well, I'd argue O-line is more of a help because they need to continue building that line to protect Tua, and Teron Armstead just retired.
That is correct, but the top O-line is Josh Simmons here, and then Kelvin Banks Jr.
I mean, going from a guy who's ranked 18 and going to 13, that's not the worst reach you can see.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it's really something that they need. It's
decent pass block and gap reads.
Josh Simmons just seems to be dropping off a lot of things, and only played 6 games, so maybe that's why we're saying this. But looks like Kelvin Banks Jr. is the biggest one. Played 15 games, pretty good ranking. Yeah, seems like it. So it looks like Kelvin Banks.
Yeah, I'd be happy with either, honestly.
3 straight Texans. Texas drafted.
Colts, I could see this being where Tyler Warren goes because they need a tight end.
They need a tight end, so it's either Tyler Warren or Colston Loveland. It's the big one.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Tyler Warren
if he drops
is 6'6", 261, and he's a do-it-all tight end who can also play like fullback, while Colston Loveland is 6'5", 245, and is much more of a receiving style. So this is where you kind of get the coach's perspective of, do you want a tight end that's a little bit more traditional, or do you want a more modern tight end? And the current coach is Shane Steichen. And he's an idiot, and he's going to pick somebody that is a new school tight end that can't block the greatest. Love Colston Loveland. He's a receiver. Love Colston Loveland. He's a receiver. Falcons.
Falcons. I'm seeing either interior or linebacking. So
yeah, Mike Green is what they're suggesting. He's still on the board. That's also what ESPN says.
I've seen it a lot already, but the name Jihad Campbell.
Jihad Campbell, yeah.
Yeah,
it's something.
Get some red-blooded Americans freaking out.
So it looks like they're saying Mike Green for this, both TFF and ESPN.
Yep, I could also make an argument for Donovan Aziraku, mainly because he's a Boston College boy. So
yeah, I think
defensive end definitely. So
I could see Mike Green going here. Didn't know too much about his season, but performed well. 6'4", 248. I guess he goes there, yeah. The Cardinals. So it looks like ESPN has Jahante Barron going to them. This also has now Will Johnson going here. Will Johnson's dropped this far. They need coverage on the outside, as a lot of their secondary has not done well. So I think this is the best spot for Will Johnson to go in our draft since he's dropped this far.
And Peterson just retired.
Yeah, so they definitely need help in the secondary. So Will Johnson dropping this far, even though he was injured the entirety, because I believe Will Johnson, as far as gameplay, he played 6 games this season. So, and again, Fresno State and UNLV, I don't feel like count that much. But yeah, after the loss to Washington and the loss to Illinois in Michigan season, just didn't play the rest of the year. Just saved it for the NFL. Yeah, so, but also that game against South Carolina he did so well in that game. That crippled his draft stock, I feel like. Okay, for the Bengals, it's all going to be defense, and now that there's a defensive tackle, Walter Nolan on the board, who's in the top 10, has fallen. Best option to make there. The Seahawks, ESPN has Gray Zabel going to them, who is a interior lineman from North Dakota State.
Yeah.
Which is like, that's a drop.
They could also go D-line, and so
they're D-line or tackle, like
Still got Ziraku. You can reach for a little bit for James Pierce Jr., who I think at one point, like early in the draft process, was a possible first round pick. It's like first top 10 pick. You also could just go linebacker with Jihad. So or Jihad. I
Yeah.
know if I'm butchering his name because I just see it written and I'm just thinking that.
Mm-hmm. They're saying go for a Ray Zabel. That's just a drop for ESPN, I feel like. Center guard, and this is a tackle, but it's a big tackle.
Well, we've said it before. Like if you're an O lineman, you can basically depending on
It is not easy to move. As a former offensive lineman in high school only, it is not an easy going from the left to the right side of the line in the tackles or going from tackle to guard. Joe Tooney even had problems. One of the best linemen in the league going from guard to tackle this year. But it is doable. You're still doing very similar things, but it's like going from running back to fullback, I feel like, in positions. There's still much similarity, but at the same time, there's a lot of differences too. This is a tough one because they just need interior alignment bad. But when we go this far, it seems like they're passing up on Simmons again. Like, did this guy just like suck in the combine?
He got injured.
I don't know.
It looks like
He did. Yeah, I didn't play all the games. He was injured. Lacks a bit of power in the run game. Is coming off an ACL tear in 2024. Yeah. So, all right. ESPN, Gray Zabel, I guess, and DSU. Then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they were saying safety. Malik Starks has fallen this far. ESPN is saying Nick Emmerwood out of Emon
Worry. Yeah, he was like one of the top like safeties in the combine this year.
Where? I'm just skipping over him.
Just go to filter and just go for safeties.
67. I feel like if they're
that's
yeah, Malik Starks is still here.
Sure, yeah, go.
Yeah, that's crazy
Malachi
for me.
Starks, yeah.
Malachi Starks or Malik, not Malachi Starks. Malik.
I can see this being an offensive pick.
Yes. So ESPN is saying to go for Omari Hampton from North Carolina. So does PFF, and by a lot, it seems like.
You could also go wide receiver because you still got Luther Burden and Emeka Egbuka still on the board.
Yeah. Also, Kenneth Grant at defensive line is also a real big. I mean, and I'm a Michigan fan, but like 6'3", 339, and
they don't need defensive help.
That is true.
They've
Shades of BJ Raji. Oh boy.
It'd be funny if
they need offense. You're right. They need offense.
Yeah. Yes, I'd go. This is kind of a flip of a coin. Like you could do running back and get Hampton, or you still have your majority of your like free picks with picks for wide receiver. Because again, Egbuka, Luther Burden, Elikai Manor. Trey Harris
is supposed to be one that they're saying is supposed to go in the first round also.
I'm seeing more second round, to be honest.
Definitely more second round, but at the same time trended upward because of his performance against Texas and then that very talented defense. There's a lot of options you could do here.
There was looks.
Right.
Quinshon Junkins, Trayvon Henderson are still here. Even Caleb Johnson, the Big Ten leading rusher. I think he's an all-time Big Ten leading rusher in a career, but he's older.
Draft Broncos is suggesting, Omari Hampton, Luther Burden, Tyler Warren, Omari Hampton, Jalen Walker.
A lot of wide receivers too, possibly.
I think, according to the mock drafts, the consensus is Hampton. So
yeah, looks like either it's Hampton or Burden, and I feel like Sean Payton did like to run the football a lot when he was with the New Orleans Saints. Obviously, Reggie Bush helped out, so having a good running back could help them. And Amari Hampton's best on the board. Feels like a good pick there. The Steelers.
Are they going to wait for Rodgers to make a decision, or do they take a quarterback here?
Well, I don't know if there's many good ones left. I mean, Milroe.
Because I've been seeing stuff on on like ESPN and NFL networks saying take Jackson Dart.
Oh, why you?
I
mean,
again,
pun intended. His career is like throwing a dart blindfolded. I feel like, it could be a bullseye. Like it, there have been moments in his games where we have seen amazing performances, and then there's other
I'm
ones.
looking at that LSU.
It's just the consistency of Jackson Hart was that of Kirk Cousins, just like a roller coaster.
Ooh. They already had that enough with Kenny Pickett taking him 3 years ago.
Right.
I blame that on Canada.
That's a bit of it, yeah.
ESPN saying Derek Harmon.
Harmon, isn't he like out of Oregon, D lineman or something?
Yeah, that's exactly out of Oregon. So drop the 42nd one, taking Derek Harmon over a guy like Kenneth Grant, over Omar Norman Lott, over some other defensive one.
Like Amon Worry, Xavier Watts.
Tyler Warren is also still on the board. Obviously, they don't need a tight end, but there's still some big ones here. I know Tyler Warren's being taken next, in my opinion. Either that or like Buka.
Yeah.
If Warren's not on the board, it was going to be Loveland for me going to the Chargers.
Yeah. So, I don't think they're going to take a quarterback. I honestly think Pittsburgh is the only place Rodgers could sign, and who's going to turn away like a decent salary? They're not going to give him $40 million, but they can still throw 10 at him, and he played for it. So I don't think they take a quarterback. So now they're just looking at running backs, tackles, and safeties. Their analysis for them is saying there's Shador could drop here, Jackson Dart, Walter Nolan, Malachi Stark, Josh Simmons, then Omarion Hampton.
And Josh Simmons is still on the board.
Tackle Josh Simmons. Maybe this is where he drops. He's dropped pretty far. We've had a lot of players picked before him. There we go. And then this is the question of it's either Tyler Warren or Emeka Egbuka. It's a Big Ten guy, Jim Harbaugh. He also loves having Ohio State players in his team, so he can kind of rub it in their face that he beat them all the time. But at the same time, he also likes the guys because he saw them play. But he also saw Tyler Warren play. And Tyler Warren is also going to be able to fill that gap at the fullback position as well. I don't see... This is a Jim Harbaugh player.
Well, they do have the space. They released Gus Edwards. So.
Yeah. So...
yeah.
Colston Love. People have Colston Love or Kenneth Grant going here. I could totally see Kenneth Grant.
They're probably just saying that because he coached Loveland, I think.
He coached Loveland and Grant, yeah. But at the same time, Tyler Warren screams Jim Harbaugh. So,
I mean, have someone for Justin Herbert.
All right,
too.
now do we make Orlami happy and finally give the Packers a first round receiver?
I mean, they're saying to take Shamar Stewart out of Texas A&M. That is what ESPN's saying.
Not a horrible reach.
But also Emeka Egbuka is on the board. He's a phenomenal wide receiver, and they need a number one wide receiver. This is, I feel like, the right decision for them to make. I like Emeka Egbuka more than I like Burden III, because I remember Burden III he had some good games this season, but that's against a UMass, Mississippi State, and Texas A&M. The rest of it, it was like, eh.
Hey, real quick, speaking of UMass, we going to come ass? We doing it?
We are, yeah. We know this. we know that we're doing it. I'm gonna talk to my. I'll probably talk to my cousins this week and ask them about where the best place to get. Because they both went to. Well, they went to. I have two cousins that went to CMU. So.
Okay.
All right.
My brother went to UMass.
There we go. All right. So, I would say Egbuka here. They need to go wide receivers.
We'll make Gorlami happy.
All right. So the Vikings, they're saying ESPN's Donovan Jackson, a guard from Ohio State. Really?
I can tell you right now, that's a bit of a reach.
It is.
Yeah.
Do they really need big offensive line help?
I mean, they kind of got that when they signed Will Freeze, so
they still have
Darisaw.
One
person. They got Darisaw still.
Yeah.
They replaced their center too, to the other guy from the Colts.
What was their biggest need? It's kind of weird because
mean, they could work on the defensive side of the ball. Get a guy like Kenneth
Maybe.
Grant or
I'm thinking Kenneth Grant's a good option for them. Really talented. They don't need their linebackers are solid. Their DBs could use some work, but at the same time, before you start getting into DBs and cornerbacks, you have Kenneth Grant, who's just a physical specimen. So I think that's a great option for them. He also played with JJ McCarthy. That could be another option there. You go with another Michigan guy. I think Kenneth Grant's a good option here.
Yeah, and like it gets some
Yeah.
D line. Like you don't need great secondary if your D line could actually
Yep.
get to the quarterback.
The
Now
Houston Texans, people were saying that, ESPN saying that McMillan would drop down here, which is, I mean, it could, but also at the same time, him dropping that far is crazy.
yeah. For top wide receiver you have right now, that's Luther Burden.
You're also
O-line,
saying-
Josh Connerly Jr. out of Oregon.
So yeah, it's either Connolly Jr. because Simmons was already taken, but we said by the Steelers. So I think Burden the third might be the best option here for them. They want to try the
they're
receiver
gonna
out
go-
because
and
they're
then
going
wait,
to rush
see if
stuck
they-
with receivers.
Yeah, they're gonna start the receiver rush, and then they could get the O line in the second round.
Okay, so now we're going to go to the Rams.
Tight
ESPN
end,
saying
linebacker.
Maxwell Harrison out of Kentucky, which is like,
Yeah, cornerback, also possibly a second round pick at best.
yeah.
Also had a decent combine, and I think he was just ahead of Nick Emanuori on a few spots.
Tight ends are kind of
Tight ends.
swiveling out here. I have a sneaking suspicion that Sean McVay, if he needs a tight end that bad, that the tight end he will draft if both Colston Loveland and
Loveland already go in our draft. I feel
yes, Colston Loveland. Where he was up a little higher, yeah, to the Colts.
Oh, yeah.
If Colston Loveland and Tyler Warren are off the board, I feel like he could go and get Harold Fannin Jr. Because again, this guy.
good, but that feels like a bit of a reach.
Do you see the stats?
I'm looking at them still, but like
yeah,
I'm
but
thinking
who's
of
gonna
other
try to
needs
pick
they
him
have.
up in the first round? Yeah, like who needs a tight end that's gonna try to pick him up in the first round or second round?
Yeah. So I don't think he's going to
Yeah.
get a tight end here.
You've been joking about it here, but like as good as his stats look, this feels like picking Cole Strange.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're saying for this Maxwell Harrison, a cornerback out of Kentucky, who's a bit of
Not
a
that far of a reach.
not far down, but also at the same
Especially this late
time
in the draft, late in
Amos
the
as
round.
well.
It could probably be scheme, like probably.
Maybe it could be a
Harrison
scheme
probably
thing
has-
as well.
Right.
They're also saying tackle is something
Linebacking.
that they need, and you have Josh Conley Jr. here.
Also linebacker in there too, and Campbell's still on the board.
Yeah, if they get Conley, that's not that much of a reach.
No, not at all.
Yeah. I think they get Conley here. I think they get a tackle. They need to shore up that O-line because that was rough for them.
Agreed.
Okay, then the Ravens.
Guard.
ESPN
rusher,
is predicted Starks, Malachi Starks, to drop down here.
what-
James Pierce
Nelson
Jr. is
saying
what
an
PFF
edge rusher.
says. So an edge rusher. They do need some They do need some pressure. Their defense has put out a solid pass rush for a while, and you don't want to give Joe Burrow time, and you play him twice a year. So they really need to help out with that. So I feel like that's a good pick. Pierce. You also have Scorton, who dropped a little bit earlier. Well,
Rogers on the
he was
board.
expected to go earlier. So Pierce.
Teammate Shamar Stewart.
Is it Randy Gregory? Lower
Twitchy.
snap count.
Fast hands. Dietrich Wise. Oh, actually, yeah, Stewart could be the pick here. I'm not gonna lie. If your comparison is Dietrich Wise,
A lot.
Jr., who-
Both this and ESPN has said that Stewart's going to go before Pierce Jr. So maybe we just take that here. If they're going to get an edge rusher, they're going to go with Stewart here.
Yeah.
And we are not experts, but we're trying to go off the best that we know.
Yeah.
boy, are we stupid.
Yeah.
Now, Lions.
You don't say.
They're definitely a defensive team here because their defense was banged up and they want to have more depth there and also just talented players. So they're saying Michael Williams.
I
And
would say line,
and
yeah, somewhere in the
Georgia.
linebacker.
but I feel like Jahad Campbell's dropped really far and he's at 11th rank.
That's what I'm
you?
thinking. I'm thinking
Or do we need
Jihad.
linebacker?
I think Jahad here, yeah.
Yeah, they need the
Because
depth, because especially after last
yeah.
year, because
Also, I think they need to help Anzalone out there a little bit, because I feel like
Plus, they already
Anzalone
have-
is a really good sub linebacker, but at the same time, I feel like John Campbell is going to be much more down the field run
they
stopper,
also
and they
have
would
a lot
complement
of
well with
former
each other.
Crimson Tide on that side of the ball, so I feel
Oh,
like
yeah.
it would be just adding more synergy to that.
Absolutely.
So sure.
ESPN has a projected trade here that the Commanders trade back, and the Cleveland Browns select Jackson Dart, which I think is pretty funny. We're not doing trades on this one. So
What's the
the
analysis saying for here? Because they seeing running back, cornerback, edge rush,
Hampton, Pierce Jr., Stewart.
Edward, is it Donovan Easy is still on the board.
They do need a
Donovan.
running back.
Yeah.
Where's the next running back on?
Ham Scadaboo is the next
Scadaboo.
highest one up. But you also have
Oh.
Caleb Johnson, Travis Henderson, Quinton Junkins. Trayvon Henderson and Junkins are definitely extremely talented and very athletic, and Johnson has been a staple at the University of Iowa for years. Like 1,500 yards this past season was incredible.
Yeah.
So you have a definite workhorse in Caleb Johnson, and you have a spark plug in Scadaboo. Sampson is good. But then also Henderson Junkins are just pure athletes. But I definitely think Scadaboo could fit because he can receive the ball pretty well and he's tough. I feel like Scadaboo could go here.
Yeah, I was actually thinking Scadaboo.
Yeah. All right, 3 more picks. Bills.
All defensive
Defensive stuff. So you have a Boston College guy from the area. You need an edge rusher. Small college, small town team. I feel like it kind of just fits.
Sure, why not?
The Bills in ESPN was saying Trey Amos was what they're going to pick here as a cornerback.
Well, now that they brought back Trey White, I feel like that hole at cornerback got a little smaller. So
Maybe, but how long you're going to have it? Again, you're also drafting for the future.
I mean, that's why they still have. No, wait, they don't have Kyrie Lamb anymore.
Oh, it's Donovan Izeru or Trey Amos. This one's just a toss-up. All right.
You could probably flip a coin here. Right?
Flip that, Trey Amos.
All right.
All right. Chiefs. They need some line, offensive line, because they lost Joe Tooney, so they definitely need to fill that position. So ESPN says Josh Carnley Jr. out of Oregon. He's already gone. So as far as the next best offensive line, you got to go a ways until we get to Donovan Jackson or Tyler Booker. And they lost Tooney, who was a guard. So it's between these two guys. You have...
It's not the worst reach to go for either of them, either.
6'5", 325, or you have...
help in the trenches is never a bad thing.
Yes.
No. Especially when you got to protect Patty Mahomes.
I mean, look what happened in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then again, you're basically going against the weight of essentially 2 D lines and with your boys. So
lost Tooney, so I think we're gonna take a guard, Tyler Booker.
All right, it's not the worst reach. So
nope. And then the Eagles. This is where ESPN thought John Campbell would fall to because they have lost some linebackers.
Lost Josh Sweat. They lost. Okay.
So now there's some edge rushers, and now Nick Scorton has dropped this far. He was expected to be drafted earlier for ESPN.
Scorn, Pierce.
And they're saying Scorton's the top picked one here, so I think it's Scorton is a good pick.
All 3 of the top suggestions for you are still available here. So
yeah,
I would say Scorton.
Yeah, it's either that, Pierce. I think it also depends on I forgot what defensive scheme that Fangio does. Is it 4-3?
Well, it doesn't blitz very often, but your guys can still get to them. Like,
I think it's a 3-4 over generally. You have 3
yeah.
down linemen, but you also bring over an edge rusher that can sometimes peel back into coverage, but generally just rushes a lot of the time. It's what Sweat was doing for a long time. But yeah, there we go. Scorton.
I'll say Scorton. Like and also that's not like a reach or
rating or draft.
Scorn was around that spot. They're like 31 rank apparently, or like around the pick.
Yeah.
So.
Taking for what the hell?
I'm happy with that though. I don't know.
I would not mind that. I would love that. Lost Mekhi Becton, but I think because O-line's not that deep right now, you can find someone in the second or third round.
Stay in your seat.
I don't know why they're saying receiver was like a big need. It's like,
Is there a chance you're going to lose somebody this offseason? I mean, I'm pretty sure you kept the majority of the gang around in that department.
Brown, Devontae Smith. I don't know. Jahan Dotson, I don't know, just because I think he was just around.
Dotson, I think, is sticking.
All right, cameras are going to screw up for 1 second. Whoa. There, I'm going to post that so we know what our draft is, and we'll see if any of these are correct. What did we get even last year? I can't remember what we even got last year as far as our picks.
I can't remember.
I don't think it was
We need
many.
to save the year over year.
We'll also remember trades happen, so that kind of screws
Yeah,
it.
that's the hardest thing to predict is trades. That's the
that
hardest
fucking
thing.
Oh, the
Xavier-
biggest.
The
The
Xavier
fucking-
Worthy pick after the Bills trade. What were they?
Oh, yeah.
thinking?
Or the fucking Atlanta getting cute. Well, I guess hindsight 2020.
The
With
2 years in
Atlanta
a row,
getting
just
QB.
what the fuck picks from Atlanta? That was funny.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess.
All right. Oh, we got that saved now.
Yep, we
Yep.
do indeed. All right. We're going to go ahead and move on now to our coverage of the UFL games, and then we'll quickly get into our predictions. I have to find the stats page. It's not on ESPN.
Yeah, they don't have them.
What the hell, UFL site? Come on, load. But anyway, we'll get this going in the background. So we'll start off with the Arlington Renegades and the Brahmas. What is going on? You give me the
No, I
UFL
thought that's
schedule.
Arlington against Birmingham. That's
Sorry,
against Birmingham.
Not the Brahmas, Birmingham. I'm used to saying the Brahmas. My bad. My bad. Ugh. All right. Here we go. Week 3.
Still look up stats.
They'll get the stats. 9-10 was the final score. The Arlington Renegades fall by a single point to the Stallions in a close game. There are a lot of close games this week. For the Renegades, Luis Perez, 26 for 38 for 208 yards, no touchdowns or picks, a 68% completion percentage, 81.9 rating. Decent day for him. Not the greatest, but not the worst. Rushing, Kalen Ballage, 16 for 41, Dady Hunter, 6 for 29, and Devon Smith, 1 for 4. Receiving, Saul Canella, 6 for 52. Great day for him. Tyler Vaughn's 5 for 40. Deontay Burnett 4 for 30. Isaiah Weinstead 3 for 29. Javon Payton 3 for 22. And Kalen Ballage 1 for 15, as well as Dady Hunter 3 for 11. For the Stallions, Matt Corral 9 for 41. 255 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, a 46.3 percentage, and a 64.6 rating, and not a great day there. He was a lead rusher, 40 yards
for 40. Wait,
9
for 41.
Sorry, 19 for 41. 19 for 41.
Okay.
My mistake. 19 for still not great though. Still a 46% completion percentage. He was a lead rusher, 4 rush attempts, 24 yards. CJ Marble 9 for 15. Ricky Pearson Jr. 5 for 14. CJ Marble, yeah, he is a not. He didn't get hurt this game, I don't think. No, he hasn't. Then Ricky Pearson Jr. 5 for 14. Receiving, Kay Johnson 3 for 63 and a touchdown. Jordan Thomas 2 for 44. Amari Rogers 3 for 42. Marlon Williams 4 for 41. Jay Sternberger 2 for 26. Davian Davis 3 for 23. Austin Watkins Jr. 1 for 9, and Jalen Camp 1 for 7. Again, a very close game. This is a really different Stallions team from last year. I feel like the Stallions last year were very focused on the run, had a very balanced attack. And this was all passing, and it was not working. Again, under a 50% completion percentage, 1 touchdown, 1 pick for Corral. He was their lead rusher, 4 rushes, 24 yards. CJ Marble was their main running back, number 11 there. He had 9 rushes for 15 yards, a 1.7 average. Corral was averaging 6 average yards a carry on his 4 carries. The Renegades defense is obviously much better than it was last year, but at the same time, that is a horrible run statistic. Despite all that, the thing that has seemed to persist the most from... Oh, my goodness. What a fumble. The thing that has seemed to persist the most from Birmingham last year to this year has been their defense. It has continued to perform very well. This is a Renegades team that has kept a lot of their offense together, so it has been very, very prolific compared to their seasons before. But at the same time, this defense from the Stallions has been phenomenal this season thus far, keeping them in games where their offense has struggled mightily compared to last seasons, and they're not going to be able to three-peat if they keep playing this way. They are still 2-1, but at the same time, they do not look as dominant as they did last year, and a lot of stuff is going to need to change. For the Renegades, you could have started 3-0 here, but then your offense just kept sputtering. Couldn't run the ball. 74 total rushing yards in the day on 23 carries, and passing the ball was good. 26-38 is a good completion percentage. 68.4 is very good, but at the same time, gave up a decent amount of sacks, and then also just couldn't get the ball in the end zone. There just wasn't anything that could be done in that regard. Yeah, it was a rough day offensively for the Renegades. It was all field goals, no touchdowns. They just couldn't be consistent enough offensively to get it done, and Birmingham's defense buckled but didn't break, and their offense was able to eventually just, bang their heads against a wall enough times and get through. But again, 1-point game, a lot better than last week. There are a lot closer games this week. The final score was 9-10. I mean, you guys kind of see it too with Birmingham this year. They don't look as good as they did last year, at least as dominant.
It looks rough.
It does.
Yeah.
Their offense is just their offensive dominance seems gone.
They're not kicking up their high horse like a stallion,
I mean, they don't have there's almost nobody from last year on there, or maybe some people. They don't have most of the people that were on.
Martinez isn't in the backfield anymore, and he was a dynamic threat at quarterback. Corral's still very good, but it isn't as elusive as Martinez was. But yeah, their defense has still proved to be very strong in this league, but their offense has got to pick up the slack. 9-10 the final score. Stallions get the win at home. All right, we're moving on to the Roughnecks versus the Showboats. Go to the stat page for that. Right, week 3, Roughnecks, Showboats. Another 1-point gain, 18-17, the final score. Roughnecks get the win in the home of the Showboats. Showboats are 0-3. Nothing could seem to go right for them. For the Roughnecks, 2 quarterbacks. Nolan Henderson went 10 for 11 for 80 yards and 1 touchdown with no picks, a 90.9% completion percentage and a 127.3 rating. Anthony Brown, 8 for 15 for 40 yards, no touchdowns, no picks, a 53.3% and a 59 quarterback rating. On the ground, Zircondre White, 15 for 50. Lorenzo Lingard, 4 for 32. Anthony Brown, 3 for 21. And Nolan Henderson, 3 for 15. Receiving, Zircondre Wright, 3 for 28. Justin Hall, 5 for 22. Lawrence Keys, the third, 3 for 20. Kiki Chisholm, 2 for 18. Marcus Sims, 3 for 15. Josh Peterson, 1 for 11. And Emmanuel Butler, 1 for 6. This is the same Emmanuel Butler from last year, right? Was that the one in the no, wasn't it? That wasn't the guy that Wade Phillips saw and was...
Emmanuel Butler.
No, Roughnecks, yeah.
2 years. He's been with them since 2023, so yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that wasn't the guy that was on the St. Louis Battle Hawks that Wade Phillips was talking about. It was a different Butler.
No, I'm seeing him playing with the Saints, the CFLs, Tiger Cats, Brahmas, and Roughnecks.
Yep. Then we go on to the Showboats. EJ Perry, 13 for 20 for 131 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, 65% completion percentage, and 60.6 rating. Troy Williams, 4 for 8 for 63 yards, no touchdowns, no picks, a 50% completion on the nose, and a 76.6 rating. Running, Troy Williams, 4 for 35 and a touchdown. Dendrick Prince, 12 for 16. Jayla Jackson, 9 for 14. EJ Perry, 1 for 6. Receiving, Kwame Lassiter the second, 6 for 79 and a touchdown. Jonathan Adams, 5 for 42. Kai Loxley, 2 for 28. Derek Prince, 2 for 16. Isaiah Washington, 1 for 15. Ray Izzo, 1 for 14. Rough day for the Showboats again.
It also looked like they had it at first, and then It looked almost like a game for them for once,
Yeah.
but yeah, it did not end in their favor.
EJ Perry, again struggling at the quarterback position. He played last year for the Panthers. Now moved to the Showboats. 2 picks on the day, only 1 touchdown, as you can see here. That was to Kwame Lassiter the second, but the Roughnecks would not go away. Nolan Henderson threw his own touchdown pass. They traded time between 2 quarterbacks evenly, and they got a passing touchdown from Henderson to Emmanuel Butler. And that was the big separation there, and managed to get field goals the rest of the way. But the Showboats put 3 points in the first, 8 in the second, and none in the second half. Their offense petered out. The halftime adjustments for the Roughnecks worked well. And again, nothing seems that can go right in Memphis for the UFL. So, again, this team is just, it seems like every single year, it's just nothing happens with them. It's just disappointment after disappointment. So holy moly, get rid of the ball in that play. My goodness, that's like a 20-yard loss. Yeah, 2nd and 22. It's a 12-yard loss. And you set up a screen? Oh my god, you almost lost more yards there. Oh my goodness. Oh.
But they got the yardage back.
It really makes me...
on Houston.
No, Wade Phillips is Brahmas, not Houston.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know what it is with Memphis. Maybe it's just because Masson likes them, and he can't like 2 teams that are really good. So the Eagles are good, and the Showboats suck. But like,
I didn't say I like them. It's just like, oh, they're the closest.
They're the nearest team, yeah. But rough season for them. The Roughnecks, it's still like they haven't settled on quarterbacks yet. Henderson and Brown are playing well. Again, whether or not that's who's actually going to be the starter, or they just wanted to give both guys opportunity, because again, this is a league that really emphasizes trying to get guys exposure so they can get into the NFL, and obviously this is all of their dreams basically. But it seems like this
if the worst situation for them is 2 good quarterbacks and don't know what to choose, I'd rather have that than I don't have a quarterback.
Yeah, than being Memphis and just nothing's working.
Yeah.
Great pass there from Nolan Henderson. Cross body on the run into the back of the end zone there to Emmanuel Butler. But yeah, something's got to change in Memphis. Some different scheme, different quarterback. My gosh, that pass was behind him. And touchdown. Pick 6. Amazing defense there by the... Well, not even an amazing defense. That was just like easily done. I mean, this seemed like it was behind him for EJ Perry. Cuts out, does an out route.
I mean, you didn't see the under.
Well, both behind. That was both behind him. If we look here, that's behind him.
Yeah.
That's going to end up right here.
A little behind.
I'll say this: if this guy didn't intercept it, the quarterback that was guarding it would either break it up or intercept it. And he goes waltzing into the end zone. Has a great sea of blockers, and it's like like a 20-yard return too. Oh, rough there for EJ Perry. But yeah, again,
get this shit out of here.
Memphis not doing well this season at all. Speaking of not doing well, the Brahmas still can't get stuff done at all. They fall to the Michigan Panthers. Final score 23-26, a 3-point game. Real tough one. We'll start with the Brahmas. Kellen Mond, 19 for 31 for 153, 1 touchdown, no picks, a 61.3% completion percentage, and 84.5 rating. Anthony McFarland had a better day, but again, not the numbers we're used to seeing from last year. 7 for 54 running. Kellen Mond, 6 for 38. Josh Lovett, 7 for 18, and Joshua Corbin, 4 for 10. For the Brahmas, Jacob Harris, 4 for 56 receiving. Jonte Kirkland, 5 for 28. Greg Warren, 4 for 26. Anthony McFarland, 2 for 21 and a touchdown. Matthew Sexton, 3 for 15. And Josh Lovett, 1 for 7. Moving on to the Panthers, Bryce Perkins and Danny Etling were both playing. It was mostly Perkins, 17 for 23 for 193, no touchdowns, 1 pick, a 73.9 rating, and an 80.5 or 73.9 completion percentage, and 80.5 rating. Etling only went 2 for 4 for 21 yards. For the rushing statistics, Jaden Sheridan, 7 for 59 and a touchdown. Bryce Perkins, 10 for 30 and 2 touchdowns. Nate McCray, 7 for 14, and Toa Tua, 3 for 12. For the Panthers receiving, Malik Turner 5 for 54, Sosi Marner 5 for 54. Again, 2 guys with 5 receptions, both for 54 yards. That's pretty weird. Devin Ross 3 for 51. Jalen Moore 2 for 24. Cole Hikatuni 1 for 13. Samson Nakua 1 for 12, and Gunnar Oaks 1 for 8. Kind of an offensive battle. Both defenses for these teams seem to not be doing the greatest. The Brahmas seems to be doing the worst. We can't stop anyone. There were 3 rushing touchdowns from the Panthers in this game. And then our offense just couldn't be successful enough consistently. We had 1 touchdown on offense from our from passing. McFarland caught a pass. That's our running back from Kellen Mond, our quarterback. And that was it for our touchdowns. The rest were field goals, I believe. Special teams, Donald De La Haye destroying 3 field goals attempted, or 3 field goals made on 4 attempted, so 75% completion, and his longest was 55 yards. So that proved pretty well. I believe we scored once more on defense as well. Did have an interception, yes. Jordan Williams had an interception return for a touchdown. But other than that, it was our offense just continuing to not be as dominant as it was last year in the run game. So that sucks. Oh, is this this could be the time. There's no way he gets out. Yeah, there's no way he gets out of that. Last year, the Brahmas had a really dominant run game, and now it's just fizzled out. McFarland's not getting as many touches as he needs, and it's just not working as well. Now, also, the head coach is stepping away for health reasons, which we hope the great Wade Phillips is recovering as best as he can. He obviously is getting up there in age, so we wish him just the best. And the Panthers get the win here. Bryce Perkins, again, performing very well. Seems to be kind of the new quarterback on the block in the UFL. Super Bowl champ with the Rams. Very talented guy, playing into the very complicated Sean McVay system, so definitely a very knowledgeable quarterback. And a decent dual threat as well. We saw him 2 weeks ago make the most ridiculous play imaginable, running in for a touchdown, and also this kick from destroying, just straight down the uprights from 53. Might be some NFL looks here, so great for him, but a great kick from 53. But yeah, Michigan wins by 3. San Antonio tried to come back late, scored 8 points in the fourth quarter, but it was not destined to be. So Michigan advances to 2-1. San Antonio now 0-3. A rough start to the year for them. All right. We move on once more to the final game of this week, week 3, or last week, I should say. And it was a battle between 2 big juggernauts. 27-15, the final score between the DC Defenders and St. Louis Battlehawks, and the Battlehawks fall. This was a battle of 2 undefeated teams, both coming in 2-0. They fall out of 2-1. DC Defenders are now 3-0 on the season and doing well. An old red versus blue battle here in St. Louis. We will start here with the DC Defenders. Jordan Tom was 17 for 37 for 243, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks, 49.9% completion percentage, and 72.2 rating. This would have been a great stat line if it weren't for those 2 picks. That really kind of dampers that there.
Yeah.
Rushing, Deion Jackson 8 for 54 and Abram Smith 23 for 52. Receiving, Ty Scott 3 for 85 in a touchdown. Brian Moore McKinney 3 for 40 in a touchdown. Jaden Mickens 1 for 25. Chris Rowland 2 for 23. Corden Powell 3 for 21 in a touchdown. Braylon Sanders 2 for 21. Ben Brayshawn 1 for 18. Abram Smith 1 for 14. For the St. Louis Battlehawks, Manny Wilkins 16 for 29 for 147, 1 touchdown, 3 picks, a 55.2 completion percentage, and a 41.1 rating. He was also lead rusher, 4 for 39. Shakur Pearson 1 for 7. Javon Howard 3 for 6. And Jacob Sailors 7 rushing attempts, 1 yard. Receiving, Jacob Sailors 7.
That's sack.
Yeah. Jake say there's 7 receptions, 91 yards. Frank Darby, 1 reception, 35 yards, and touchdown. Jake Sutherland, 1 for 8. Chase Allen, 1 for 6. Jacob Pearson, 4 for 1. This DC Defenders defense played an amazing, once again, defense already, it seems like the toughest defense in the UFL by far. They made the St. Louis Battlehawks talented offense. Again, they don't have AJ McCarron anymore. Manny Wilkins is still a very talented quarterback, but at the same time, he threw 3 picks in this game, and that was set up great by this DC Defenders defense, and their offense looked phenomenal. Again, aside from the 2 picks that Tom threw, which were bad, again, he does struggle sometimes with decision-making, as KF can attest to, but 243 passing yards on a decent percentage of 45, not the best, but also not horrible. Put in a lot of yards, and then they ran the ball pretty well. They had 2 main running backs, Deion Jackson and Abram Smith, both had over 50 yards. Again, it's not one guy rushing for 100, it's 2 guys for 50, which does lessen the workload on them. But, I mean, Deion Jackson, 8 attempts for 54, and Abram Smith was their workhorse, 23 attempts for 52. Great job by both of them there. They balanced the ball really well. 243 passing, 103 rushing. A little more pass-heavy, but that is the modern game. So they played great defensively. They played well offensively, got things done where it was, and were able to capitalize off the mistakes that the Battlehawks made and not make too many of their own. They still won the turnover battle, but at the same time, the Battlehawks did not. Their offense definitely still has some things to iron out. You had 5 or 6 guys run the football, 16 attempts, 45 rushing yards. 27 of them were right there on Manny Wilkins' rush attempt. That was actually called back. That wasn't, I believe, a touchdown unless they orchestrated it wrong there.
I think it was called back.
Yeah, because it's still 12-0, as I can see here. KF's in the way, but yeah, there you go. So it was called back. That was the longest run in the game that you just saw right there from the quarterback, Manny Wilkins. That was a 27 long run from him. No other player on that team had more than 7 rushing yards.
Mm-hmm.
So this DC Defenders defense turned this St. Louis offense into a one-dimensional team, whether by design or just by ineptitude of play calling.
Yes.
Whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, either way. So there was the 1 passing touchdown from Wilkins. So there's that. But at the same time, this DC Defenders defense has been much improved from last year, and they are definitely giving teams fits. Obviously, as I'm saying that, you can see a touchdown here. That was a touchdown amongst 3 different picks. So very impressed with DC's defense. Any other thoughts you guys have on this, KF, this being your team?
Go Defenders.
Yeah.
You basically got everything on the head there. Our defense is looking awesome. Tamu's having his moments where he just cannot make a good decision, save his life. But at other times, he, as you saw a couple minutes ago, had like that 60, 70-yard bomb of a touchdown pass.
Yep.
So, yeah, just try to work on that a little more because that was just horrible.
There's still some, we've seen it. I've watched Tamu for a couple years now, and there's moments where it's just like, oh, that was a great pass. Oh, like Caleb Williams in the pocket, like a grease pig. You just can't grab him. He can zip out of the pocket and really make things happen with his legs. Then other times he sits in the pocket, waits for a little bit, has time, and then just throws the most mind-boggling, IQ-reducing pass you've seen in your life. And you're like, who was that to? But again,
you could say that for a lot of.
Oh, absolutely.
Football.
I've seen Joe Burrow at times throw a pass where I was like, Joe, what were you smoking? And believe me, I've also watched guys like Andy Dalton and Carson Palmer, and God forbid, John motherfucking Kitna in a playoff game throw it directly to James Harrison.
Mac Jones, a little bit of Drake May. Mac Jones, obviously, Cam Newton a bit. Even Brady have had moments where like.
So don't even get me started on Bailey Zappi.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, it's like for those, most of them, they kind of at least keep it consistent of having like good decision throws. Tamu, it's like 50% bombs, 50%, 50%. Who are you throwing it to? That's the problem.
A little, kind of a poor man's Anthony Richardson, just in the throwing capacity, not the body and the build, but like has a cannon, can definitely throw it, but the decision making can be a little rough sometimes.
Yeah.
I'd say my biggest comparison for Wilkins, honestly, is Caleb Williams. He's got the same running style where it's like he's not moving his legs super far.
No, I see it. You're
Yeah,
right. Actually.
he's not run. It's weird. If you look at Wilkins when he runs, it's like one of those like Kyler Murray-esque running styles where like it's like how is he moving that fast? His feet are like an inch apart, but it's like like Mr. Krabs walking, like, and he all of a sudden he just zips by. And you're like, what the fuck? But also has a very strong arm. But I would say the one thing where it differs from Caleb Williams is Caleb Williams, I feel like his decision making for a rookie in the situation he was in Chicago was amazing. I saw him very rarely ever force the ball, where I've seen Wilkins, especially in this game with 3 picks, force the ball a lot. So, but again, these are guys that are learning and have a lot of things that they need to improve on in order to get to the next level, but guys that definitely could play at the next level. So, hats off to the defenders' defense. They definitely did a great job in this game, and this was a great game to watch as well. Also, shout out the nerd Reed Blankenship with a bomb there. That was a 56-yard long field goal.
I'll be honest, he keeps that stuff up. He could probably have another chance to
Get him back in the NFL. Get him back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Bring the nerd back.
Bring the nerd back. All right, we are now going to move on to our predictions for this week. This is now going into week number 4, so we have a couple games on this list. We updated the scores, so let's take a quick look at them. We'll start at the top and go down. Macedon is not in first place, believe it or not. It is K-Duff, who is still undefeated, 17-0.
How the fuck? Wait, go back. Hold on. I don't like this anymore. Our last time we went 17-0 and ended bad for us.
Okay, so, look. If you get every game perfect, like again, if you have no losses by the end of the season, Pat's tickets. It's not happening. Pat's tickets. You're going to Gillette. I'll pay for it. There's no way. There's absolutely no way in hell. The statistical probability of that is minuscule, but great job. 17-0. You went 5-0 in week 3.
What if I pulled like a Biff from Back to the Future and I like went in forward in time just so I could get those Pats tickets?
Just for Pat's tickets, and you wouldn't like throw a bunch of money into like sports betting like Biff did?
I mean, I do that too, obviously.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, Maston 12-4 went 4-2. Mamba 11-2 went 3-1, and me and Gorlami are tied at last 9-4 apiece. All right, so we're gonna do our predictions. We'll start with the game on Friday, April 18th. So that is today for you viewers at home. I believe because I think we have 2. Let's see here. We have 1 on Friday, 2 on Saturday, and then 1 on Sunday being Easter Sunday. So happy to all those that celebrate. April 18th, 2025, 8 p.m. Eastern, we have Memphis at Michigan. Michigan by 10.
Give me Michigan by 14.
Michigan by 4.
Good enough.
Oh, sorry. It was
No Gorlami today. It's right to you.
Yeah, Michigan by 5.
Okay. Next up, April 19th, Saturday. This is at 12:30, so a little bit afternoon. St. Louis Battlehawks at the Arlington Renegades. I'm going to take the... Renegades definitely struggled. I feel like they're going to bounce back. The Battlehawks are also a very talented team. I'll take the Renegades by 2. Be a close one. I still trust Saul Cannell and Luis Perez. That hookup between them, solid.
Give me my Battlecocks by 7.
St. Louis by 4.
Give me the Battlehawks by 7. Also, Gorlami doesn't want to mess up the screen. He's here, but spirit.
He's here in spirit.
He's here in spirit.
Lob, get ready to edit. Oh no.
Get ready to edit. Is he coming in?
Is he?
Maybe. All right. Then we'll do the Birmingham Stallions at the Houston Roughnecks. This is from Houston, Texas.
This fuck.
Oh God.
Here's Gorlami.
He's still not got his green screen on.
Wait, this is supposed to be K-Duff. Oh shit.
Where am I? Oh God.
Who am I? Where am I?
We'll do it live. We're doing it live.
Fuck's sakes. Hold on.
We're doing live.
Guys, look, Gorlami's been here the whole time.
Yeah, he's been here the whole time.
I had 6 falters tonight, 5 PRs, 2 girls that are now ranked in the state. Let's fucking go.
Let's go. All right.
Fucking go, dude.
Quickly, Gorlam meet. Panthers and Showboats, Battlehawks and Renegades. Give us your predictions for each.
Panthers by 4, Battlecocks by 8.
Okay. Stallions and Roughnecks. This is at the Roughnecks. I still think the Stallions are going to win this. I like their defense a lot more than the Roughnecks kind of struggles that they've had a little bit. They're still doing a lot better than they did last season, but I don't know if they can beat the Stallions, even if the Stallions' offense is kind of sputtering at the moment. I'll take the Stallions by 3 in this one. It'll be a close one, though. Stallions' offense is still, it'll be a low-scoring game. Stallions' offense is not great.
Mamba.
Let me rough my necks by 7. Fuck it.
Jesus.
Birmingham by 4.
Yeah, Stallions by 6.
Give me the Stallions by 5.
How the fuck is Kada still undefeated?
I don't know.
I don't
really
know.
I told Kate if he goes undefeated in the entire season, I'm buying him Pats tickets. But at the same time, there's no way that's happening. All right. And then let's take a look at the final
You're gonna eat your
game.
words.
There's no way. Brahmas and at the Defenders. This is from DC, the Beer Snake, but at the same time, Fenders, Contenders, or Sex Offenders. Brahmas by 5.
God.
I'm gonna go with the Offenders by 7.
DC by 4.
Fuck. You know what? Fuck the Brahmas. Give me the Defenders by 9.
Come on.
Good
Brahmas,
choices, gentlemen. Good
Brahmas by
choices.
5.
Defenders by 7.
All right, that is our predictions for the next week, and now it is time for everyone's favorite point of the episode where we get into massive tirades and yelling at Masson for random stuff. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Wait.
Oh, and yeah, some.
Wait. I got.
What's happening?
Sorry.
I think I might have gotten
Today
spoiled.
we're gonna go over Macedon's
Yeah.
favorite country during World War II.
Germany.
Detroit.
Number
All right.
1, Germany.
Okay.
Number 2,
The Ford Motor
Italy.
Company.
All right.
Number 3.
Oh wait, what?
This is
Walt Disney.
we're doing races, but this is stock fantasy races.
Oh, we're gonna get racist here, real quick.
We're gonna get racist. All right.
Oh God.
So
Alright.
we're starting out with the weirdest one: animal hybrid.
No. Let me play stuff in Alpha already. Dark elves, high elves, wood elves.
You heard.
Man.
Dude.
Dark elves, high elves, and wood elves. So just
Wood
all
elves.
elves.
What do
So
you
clearly
got against
dwarves
wood
are
elves, dude?
So clearly, dwarves S tier, right?
So
The war of
wood
the
elves gotta be a little higher. They're just better
No,
elves. All right.
no, okay.
Dude,
They're-
eat a dick.
Also, their before their campaign was kind of not fun in Total War Warhammer. They were now
All
it's
right.
a little.
Anyway, this is everything. This is Warhammer. This is Narnia. This
know,
is Lord of the
D&D.
Rings. D&D. Okay, so animal anthropomorphic hybrid animal. Yeah. Okay. Giants.
Because of Beastmen. No, because of Warhammer Fantasy of Beastmen. That would have been my second army or third army if I would have done earlier. So B.
Okay.
They have some good
Put
Giants.
the fucking elves down in F. I'm fucking real with you.
S tier.
Giants. Shout out Giants. Dwarves.
Rock and stone.
That's S tier.
Okay.
I knew it.
They
Ogres.
would have been
Going
my
in F tier.
fourth army. If
So these aren't
Ogres?
orcs. These are ogres. Giant orcs.
There's a difference. They have layers.
A.
Okay. Vampires. Dracula.
I say F for Twilight.
But you forget
Definitely brings them down. Twilight definitely brings them down.
That's why I'm saying B because of Helsing. of
Fucking
the
love me
anime
some
that was
Hellsing Ultimate.
Hellsing Ultimate abridged. Yes. Plus also
Jesus wants a hug.
also vampire. Also for Warhammer Fantasy, actually did them well. If you do vampires, actually well.
Yeah.
Fairies.
Shout out Hotel Transylvania, best vampire adaptation. Anyway, fairies.
C. It depends on.
C or
depends on
B?
certain stuff. C.
C. Okay.
If you go with like actual folklore, they are scary as fuck. They actually fuck you up.
And
But
then there's
that's why a
Tinkerbell.
lot of- Yeah. That's why I
Okay.
love the one show, The Ancient Magus Bride did fairies really well because they did folklore stuff. Centaurs.
Centaur.
B.
B.
I kind of consider them kind of like.
Now you know a lot about like the fantasy realms and stuff like that. If a centaur,
Macedon saw centaurs back in Greece.
A centaur wore pants.
no, not that. If a centaur and a human had a baby, and they
Regular
had
horse.
2 babies, and one was a regular horse and one is a man, is that possible? One was like the top half
Yes.
was a man, but the top half was a centaur, but the bottom half was the man. Could you have a reverse centaur? Could you have a reverse centaur?
Or there's the one. It's like the centaur and a minotaur have a kid, and it's just a horse.
I was gonna say just a cow at that point.
It's
It's
just
a
a horse,
mule. It's
and
a
no
really
one ever
angry
expects
mule.
the horse.
All right, trolls. How are these different from ogres?
Well,
They are.
they're on 4chan more often.
Bruh. R.I.P.
Also, trolls are actually dumber. Like I'm going Lord of the Rings
D tier.
and some other stuff. B tier because
fuck
I'm gonna go
you.
with Warhammer Fantasy. There's some hilarious shit with trolls.
Okay, orcs.
S tier.
Yeah, orcs, Urukai, Warhammer orcs.
Orcs are going on S tier.
Solid. Kobolds, which are like
F.
dragonborn, but
F.
kind of different.
Okay,
tiny
it depends. I'm going with D&D on this one. It depends
Midget-
on the edition.
midget
They're very
dragonborns.
weird.
Have you ever been playing D&D and came across 3 kobolds in a trench coat?
God.
Ugh.
I would say
I had a one
D
time in a
because,
campaign
just
where I
how
got.
much change like just them in general is kind of weird.
I had
Okay,
a one time
Oni.
where I was playing a wood
Oni.
elf, and I got into a boxing match with a kobold and I knocked him out in one punch.
I think it depends on who writes it. I would say C. Like they can be cool. It just I don't know.
They have to be written right. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
All right, demon.
A
Fuck
tier.
demons.
All right,
Oh,
angels.
straight up.
I'm actually playing an ASMR
D.
character in one of my campaigns.
C. Okay.
Playing a
Mermaids.
half elf in mine.
So mermaids. God, I'm gonna go with Age of Sigma. on
Mermaid
this
man and
one.
barnacle boy.
B.
Mermaid
If they're done, if they're done right, they're pretty cool.
Gnomes.
You've been gnomes.
Oh
See?
god.
You've been gnomed.
Gnomed.
Halfling. Shout out the hobbits.
Oh, Mr. Frodo.
Hobbits are always funny.
I know, but
In
like
D&D, they're
it
lucky.
depends. I know it's like it's either A or B. There's only there's a couple things that brings it down, but Lord of the Rings makes it great.
Samwise Gamgee.
Warhammer yeah.
D&D
So,
halflings are actually pretty
kinda-
good.
But for Warhammer Fantasy, halflings are fucking pieces of shits at times.
Yeah. All right,
because they're part of the
goblins.
Empire.
Shout out Clash of Clans.
No,
A
Clash
tier.
of Clans.
A tier.
A tier.
And then finally,
Hey, humans suck. F
Human.
tier.
Yeah, we
It's-
fucking
what?
awful.
No, we're not awful.
Humans
Humanity-
are-
Humanity is terrible, dude.
Yeah, we are awful.
I'm
people.
gonna say B or A because fuck Bretonia, those fucking French Arthurian knight bastards.
I mean, just look at World War II.
Also,
Macedon lived through it.
Shut the fuck up, God damn it.
You didn't even leave through Desert
No.
Storm. You're 12.
Nah.
I wasn't even alive for 9/11.
You weren't. No, you weren't.
Actually, I was, but I was still shitting in diapers.
Also, okay, hold on. I gotta say this though. I swear, the guy who voices Napoleon in Napoleon Total War voices Lewin Kerr in Warhammer Fantasy. If Kadoff ever played Warhammer Total
You
War,
probably just
Warhammer
think all
Fantasy.
French people sound alike.
No. If you actually
Wait.
listen, I will show you a clip.
They all sound like Pepe Le Pew.
I'll say kind of B tier because
You are my soul.
We're
We're not on the same level as mermaids and centaurs.
Cool boy.
Mermaids are that good because they're half of us. Same with centaurs. We're the whole
did
human.
say B tier for humans.
What if it turns out like we actually meet a real mermaid person and they've just got a fish head and a human body with just like
I'm just thinking of Family Guy. I'm thinking of
Oh
Family Guy.
no.
it's just a head. It's just a fish.
Hey,
head. Like,
Lois.
why would it be reversed? Like because I wouldn't have a penis.
But they have webbed feet that helps them swim.
Oh god. All right, let's stop this rude conversation
off
before
this.
Columbus. So yeah.
Yep.
All right. Thank you for watching this episode of the Football Stooges. We hope you enjoyed. We have more episodes coming at you next week. We will sadly not have a live show next week. Again, I have weddings this summer to get off to with my brothers, so I will not have the time, sadly, to request days off from work. Unless I get it off, I could. Who knows? So let's see how that goes. But at the same time, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure you leave a like or comment if you want us to answer anything. And be ready for the draft. It's upcoming next week. Let's see what teams pick. Let's see how stuff goes. But as always, for me, Mastodon, Mama, Golami, and Kadef, thank you for watching the Football Studios. I hope you enjoy the warmer weather that's coming around. I hope you enjoy the spring as it is slowly coming to a close into summer. And most importantly, run the damn ball. Have a good night.
Man, this was the quickest episode ever.
Oh, shut the fuck up.